A dramatic reading of a real letter from Donald Trump, sent yesterday to the Prime Minister of Norway, Jonas Gahr Støre. Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China, and why do they have a right of ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only a boat that landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President DJT. This has been utter fucking insanity, brought to you by a literal demented old dying moron with a debilitating mental illness who needs to be removed from power right fucking now. Considering your country, considering your country, decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having.
President Trump is acting like an international gangster, threatening to trample over the sovereignty of an ally, threatening the end of NATO altogether, and now threatening to hit our country and 7 European allies with outrageous, damaging tariffs unless he gets his hands on Greenland. This is an incredibly grave moment for the United Kingdom, Europe, and our world. Without provocation or justification, the President of the United States is attacking our economy, our livelihoods, and our national security. Trump has put British businesses and jobs on the front line in his unprovoked aggression. The only people cheering him on are Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. Only a few months ago, Trump hailed the special relationship at Windsor Castle. Now, thanks to his actions, it is nearly in tatters. So how do we stop Trump's damaging trade war? For a year now, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Prime Minister has tried a policy of appeasing Trump, flattering him, fawning over him, refusing to stand up to him, because he argued otherwise Trump would hit us with damaging tariffs. Well, the Prime Minister has tested his approach to destruction. It has failed. It is time for the government to change course. We have to finally be clear-eyed about the sort of man Trump is and treat him accordingly. He is a bully. He thinks he can grab whatever he wants using force if necessary. And he is corrupt. The most corrupt president the United States has ever seen. So there are only 2 ways of getting him to back down: bribing him with a new jet perhaps, or a few billion in his crypto account, or standing up to him like we would with any other bully. Standing together with our European allies to make him back down. That's the choice. Which one, Foreign Secretary?
Yeah. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Bakakadash, Davon, to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. To like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Here. Hold on for a second. I have to get this post. Trying to provoke both a world war, a civil war, at the same time, while demanding Nobel Peace Prize. Is a level of insanity I've never seen before. Which is true. This dude is out of his fucking rocker. He is the butt of the joke of the world. When the scripture says that Bisha hate the whore, you can see exactly why. Who does that to the alliance? Which he had put a 10% tariffs, like 8 European countries. Then it said, I believe it's supposed to go up in June to 25% if he don't get what he wants. This is your president. This is the man that claimed to bring peace to the world. Shout out to the brother for posting this. Azan Hamaf. Azana Hamaf. Hey, Trump is that dude, man. He is that dude. Scriptures clearly tell you about people like this. You just stay the fuck away from them. Real quick, I'm thinking about that scripture. Oh, that's I'm thinking it was in Proverbs 4. It says, James 1 and 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And that's what we clearly can see. There's something in the Proverbs. I just can't remember off rip. That doesn't show me what I'm looking for. Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of. This is an Apocrypha. A double-minded man. He say one. He's talking about peace. Then he's bombing. And he's stealing. He's stealing lands from people. It's not waning. Hold on, Salakia. Apocrypha. There's something in the Apocrypha. Yep, there it is. Sirach 27 and 11. Discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. And what does that mean? That means the same way a moon changes from what do you call it? Waxing, which is weekly change events. Same way this guy that's running the world, running the president that's running things, same way he's acting. And the term for that is called a lunatic. When you look up the word lunatic, it deals with the moon. All right. But is the Lord that's doing this, putting this in his mind. Proverbs 11 and 1. 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and the rivers of water he turneth it whatsoever he will. So the Lord is the one that's playing in Trump's mind, which is Trump. He's a puppet. All right. He's getting direct orders from particular people, and he's moving suspect because he say one thing out of his mouth and there's another. And the followers are so foolish. You know, it's spiritual when Apostle Tahar I'll be calling on these other Israelite camps zombies. You know, they get offended by it. But it's spiritual because the people in this world, this current present world, they're a bunch of zombies. Okay, they go whatsoever their ruler says. Real quick, Isaiah was that's how it was designed. 660 and 2 says, For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. So the gross darkness is applied to all these people. So whatever idiotic stupidity that's being said and done, they go with it because it makes them feel good. They got it. They don't have to think that much. There's a whole thing that's going on in the back end of things. All right. And it's all because it was designed that way. people became reliant on the government too much. That was by design. The people that's ruling, they also designed this the way it is. The miseducation of the people. It says, now here want to work. Sirach, come on, 10 and 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people. So the elites have completely destroyed and annihilate the minds of the people, which led the people in this dumb state they can't think for themselves. And then they insult you, saying how you nothing but goyams and you don't think for yourselves. But they got you the way they want you. So Trump's followers are the most dumbest, retarded people on the planet Earth. Why? He does everything that he's claiming to go against. He does it. In the other first video, he when he wrote the letter to the to the prime minister in Denmark, they showed a picture of a horse and it said Bubba on it, because Bubba is another name for a former president, and he was well. The rumor was that he sucked off Bubba. He said, "Was it Putin? Does Putin has the video on him sucking off Bubba?" And at that time, it was hilarious. It was funny, and one of the sole followers, like one of the followers of this current president, had made a stupid, vile gesture, Alex Jones. I said, so what if they had the video? Is he preventing world war? That's why he said, I had the video, but look, the thing disappeared again. I hate when it does that. Well, the Post said it, all right? He's causing world war with his own alliance, and he's causing civil war with his own people. And then he wants a Nobel. He's been obsessed with a Nobel Peace Prize, and he get the title by the small hats, stating what he's a Prince of Peace. So he's the proudest devil on the planet Earth right now, and the Lord is using his stupidity to get these people into a situation that they will never get out of it. All right, he's that ruler. And I was thinking about this Obadiah. What was it, a point? 7. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevail against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There's no understanding in him. So, who, when it says, let me read that again. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. What is that border? That border is Iran. The confederacy, which is what? Hebrew word is Slakia. Bar Yat. Covenant alliance. So all those people that was in a line with you is going to bring you to that border. The scripture says, the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right? The least of the flock. And the least of the flock is that welfare center of the world that's given America his marching orders. And when Benji not a Jew came to the White House, was it 2 weeks ago? But after that, it was 2 or 3 weeks, I can't remember. His time is going by so fast. What was the first thing that happened? He went after Venezuela. He was threatening Iran right after this meeting. And he was pushing the narrative of Greenland. So, and the people that you've been in alliance with is going to get you in a world of hurt. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. So you could clearly see how the story is building up. All right. So before we get to Revelation 17 and 16, there's going to be a lot of tension between America and his allies. And ultimately, that same, how did they do that shit again? Man, hold on.
So there are only two ways of getting him to back down: bribing him with a new jet perhaps, or a few billion in his crypto account, or standing up.
And his dirt, his family's dirt is all over. All right. Total corruption that's coming from this administration. Total anti-corruption. All these presidents are corrupt, but he's just blatantly corrupt. Okay? And if anybody speaks against it, he's coming after you. This shit is never seen before. Well, in this country, the way it is. So the same oppressive state that they quote unquote has been coming against, they become openly to their own citizens. That's why the other nations are like, yo, look how wild this be, and this is their allies. All right.
To him like we would with any other bully. Standing
and calling them a bully. And nobody likes no fucking bully.
Together with our European allies to make him back down. That's the choice. Which one, Foreign Secretary?
Hey, I believe it was here.
Prime Minister has tried a policy of appeasement.
So here it is, the Parliament, which is, come to find out, where I learned this from. You know, I looked it up, or was Apostle Paul that make mention of it? A Parliament is a whole bunch of owls, like a flock of owls. They call them paramount. I don't know how to say it. But here it is their version of Congress. So all the wise people of that society is saying, yo, we gotta do something about Trump. Just straight up. And this is the mother of this bitch. And it is turning on it. This man has done a perfect job. He's gonna go down in history as the greatest idiot, period. The Lord is using this man to bring the demise of Esau's kingdom. Amazing. All right. Fucking amazing. So it says back in Obadiah 27 now. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, prevailed against thee, and they that eat thy bread, which damn near everybody have eaten under, hey, even Russia. There was a period of time in history where Russia was getting money backed up by America to get themselves out of a bad jam. That was after the walls fell down. All right, which is ironically funny because in the 1980s there was a whole campaign of movies, shows, the great bad USSR versus the US, and the US was always kicking their ass. All right, and it says because 1980, I believe, was I remember that because MTV used to show that. Was it MTV or VH1? What there was, every year there was a program where they showed like every year from movies to music videos, top the top songs, the top movies of the year, and it was making mentioning in that same program. It was also talking about in the Winter Olympics, where it was the U.S. versus USSR, and they took them. That was 1980, if I'm not mistaken. So that the whole because that was like the whole set trend of the decade. All right, and was Reagan made that speech about the prime minister of Russia, and they tore down the wall. So after that time, America was helping Russia for a period of time. Well, guess what? Russia is going to be the ones to send missiles here because they got the most. And here it is, Canada, right up north, has made a deal with China because of Americans, Trump's bad policy. Let's be realistic. So they're even going to consider the other side of the world to help them out because of the current president has destroyed their own allies. It says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There's none understanding in him. So he don't have no clue what the hell he's doing. All right. And it goes for a lot of them. It says, no, I'm going to go to the other one. Jeremiah 15:24. It says, I have laid a snare for thee. Let's go to the understanding. They don't have a clue what the hell he's doing. There must be something. They must be sitting on some treasure up in Greenland. I was talking to was it Shamar? And we were just talking about it, and he Googled it about Greenland. Which, you know what? I'm gonna do that too. Oh, that's something different. I'll check that out later. Greenland. Greenland holds vested, largely untapped natural resources, particularly rare earth elements, REEs, zinc, iron ore, gold, uranium, copper, oil, and natural gas, crucial for defense and green tech. While its minerals wealth is significant, high development costs, harsh Arctic conditions, and limited infrastructure make extraction challenging. Their exploration continue for minerals like graphene. Oh, not mistaken. Hold on, Slovakia. It's kind of daunts me. Graphite, not graphene. Hold on. Let me look this up because I've. Oh, well, if this is what I think it is, but I don't know. Let's use another tab. New tab. Graphite. What is this? A soft black crystalline form of carbon known as layer uh, sculpture that makes it an excellent lubricant. conduct of heat, electricity, and key materials in pencils, batteries, something else. If I'm not mistaken, let me see something. Hold on. Graphates. There it is. What do graphite do in the body? Graphite itself is generally considered non-toxic, even biocompatible, but inhaling large amount of graphite thus can irritate the lungs. Let me see something. Hold on. Because if I'm thinking what I'm thinking, this is the same material that was found in you know what many, many years ago. But call me a conspiracy nut. And batteries, no, we know, we just read that phonographic and I'm gonna do this without me getting in trouble. That's how I'm trying to word it correctly. Graphite and okay.
You probably think you've never used graphite, but if you've touched a phone today, driven an EV, or used the internet, you've used it constantly. Graphite is pure carbon, stacked layers of graphene, one of the best conductors of heat and electricity in the world. It's strong, lightweight, corrosion resistant, and it can handle 3,650 degrees Celsius before melting. There are two main types: amorphous, a fine powder made from fossil fuels, and flake, shiny plate-like crystals found in metamorphic rock. Bigger flakes equals bigger bucks. Jumbo flake can sell for 3 to 5 times the price of fine flake. Large flake graphite can even expand up to 300 times when heated, perfect for making graphite foils that pull heat away from electronics like phones, laptops, and servers. And here's the battery truth. Almost every battery anode today uses graphite, but it's about 9%.
So we're starting to see there's a pattern going on. There's a major pattern. It all has to do with technology. What?
Synthetic. Why? It's more consistent, lasts longer, and charges faster. Natural graphite is cheaper and has higher energy capacity, so EV makers blend the two, roughly 10% natural in EVs and up to 30% in stationary batteries. With lithium-ion battery demand growing 12 to 20% a year.
All right, so we got that part. There's something else, but I think I want to know. Maybe the other thing I'm thinking of, which everybody should be cluing in what I'm talking about, something that happened 7 years ago. But as I digress, maybe, just maybe, okay, I'm just, trying to put two and two together. But there's something in that land that they want so fucking bad that he's willing to go to war with his enemies. I mean, with his allies. That's the worst type of individual. How you can befriend somebody like that? Seriously. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, thou art found, and also have caught, because thou hast strive against the Lord. So the trap is set. We've seen these what these alliances being broken, which shows us what Luke 11 and 18. Was it 10 and 18? If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? So this kingdom of Esau, this conglomerate, them trying to Slovakia, for the embetterment of their people, this weak alliance is breaking up. All right, it's breaking up. So if it's breaking up the way it is publicly, when that time comes, like I've been saying for the past couple, that time comes, they will not hesitate. When they see the opportunity, even though we know the spirit of the Lord is going to put them to press that button, well, the Lord is going to just press it himself. And they're not going to think twice of it. They're probably going to feel regret after the fact, but like the scripture says in Revelation, they're only going to weep because of the business that they was doing with this place. Other than that, they're not going to give a damn. So we had literally seen prophecy, like somebody wrote, being fulfilled. And this prophecy is this. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So NATO EU was hating the whore. All right. They are hating the whore. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh with, and burn her with fire. So that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation Israel. Shalom.